Hey, what's going on, man? It's Vash. I'm here to do this episode review of SNAFU episode 2. And just what I thought was going to happen, happened. And I felt bad. I really did. I felt bad, man. Like, real shit though, man. Hachiman is probably my favorite anime character, like, ever. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that specific type of anime. The romantic comedy, slice of life sort of thing. He's my favorite character so far. You know what I'm saying? It used to be Tomoya, but now it's Hachiman. I can relate more to Hachiman as a person than I did to Tomoya. I haven't went through that sort of tragedy what Tomoya's gone through, but Hachiman, I'm just like, yeah, I kind of relate to what he's going through. But I always having to be the villain. That's the sad part, though. You know, that's the sad part about his life. He always has to be the villain. And everybody who I know in my personal life, you know, people at school and people at work, they always say that I'm mean until they get to know me. Then it's like, oh man, you're not mean like what I thought, you know. And it's because I'm blunt, you know, to the point. Really don't give a fuck. I'm too old to try to make friends. I mean, you're never old to gain new friends, but to purposely try to go out to make new friends, I'm too old for that shit. So I always come off as an asshole for the most part. So I can relate more to his character. And when I saw this episode, I was just like, yes, I can already tell. You know, even last week when Ibina came in and asked him, you know what I'm saying, to pretty much keep the status quo, I just like, yeah, see, I can already say it's going to be fucked up. And exactly what happened, that's what happened in this episode. Everybody was pretty much on Hachiman's ass in this episode. That whole little crew was on his ass for the most part. Even that one girl, what is her name? Yumiko? She was on his ass. She was like, hey, can y'all stop sticking y'all nose in other people's business? I'm just like, damn, like, two of y'all people asked us to get involved in this shit. We didn't just like willingly jump into this shit. Two of y'all people asked us to get in this shit. And I'm just like, damn, man. Then let me just stop on this cat right here for a second, man. What's his name? Hayama, Hayato, whatever the fuck his name is, the blonde haired dude that all the bitches love in this series. Fuck that guy. I do not understand. I was reading through the what is that shit called, the forum thing. It's a discussion forum thing where they actually talking about SNAFU, and I was just kind of like, okay, I just read some of the comments, and one of the comments was like, I don't understand when people don't like Hayato or Hayama, whatever the fuck his name is, Hayato. I don't understand when people don't like him because he's genuinely a nice guy and he tries to help out. He just doesn't do stuff in the Hachiman sort of fashion that deliver immediate results. No, fuck that guy. He's not a good friend. Real shit though. A good friend is not somebody that played both sides. That's an asshole. He played both sides of the shit. Tobe asked him to help him talk to Ibina because he wanted to confess. And Ibina, it is implied, talk to Hayama or Hayato, whatever the fuck his name is, talk to him and say, I want you to keep the status quo. Hayama Hayato himself wants the status quo to be kept the same. He doesn't want to lose this bond that they all share as friends. But he's playing both sides. That's not a good friend. That's not a good person. That's an asshole. That's a textbook asshole. You know what I'm saying? That really is the definition of having your cake and eating it too. That's stupid, son. I don't understand why this character is liked at all. He is the worst fucking character ever to exist. That scene when he and Hachiman were by that lake or whatever, and then he was just talking about how he wanted to keep the status quo, and then Hachiman was just like, these are shallow relationships because if y'all stop being friends because Tobe gets rejected, then y'all weren't having good bonds in the first place, which is true. If something like that break up y'all whole fucking circle, y'all weren't friends to start with, and it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? And Hachiman saw that shit just like, it's obvious, you know, y'all weren't good friends in the first place if that shit happens. And then the douchebag actually says, you're the last person who I wanted to trust with this. You're the last person who I wanted to tell about this. And Hachiman just like, yeah, the feeling's mutual, dumbass. I'm just kind of like, yeah, fuck you. You literally have come to me begging for my help. And then you're just like, yeah, I really didn't want to ask you. I really fucking hate to ask for your help. Well, fuck you then, dude. It's obvious that you such a fence-sitting ass pussy that you can't even come up with the solution on how to fucking help this situation out. Because you a pussy. You a fence sitter. You playing both sides of the field. That's stupid. Pick a side. You can be in the middle about certain shit, but shit like that that's going to affect every fucking body, you have to pick left or right. So fuck that character. But this episode was great though. This was a great fucking episode, man. Hachiman had to be the bad guy. You know, he notices that all they want to pretty much do is keep the status quo. You know, they're trying to keep pushing Tobe and Hina together, putting them in these sort of situations that are going to bring out, you know, maybe some possible feelings or a romantic time for a confession to happen. You know, and you know, Hachiman has to fulfill the request that Hina has set up, and that Hayato or Hayama has set up, and that all the other people have kind of come up with, you know, come up to him to talk about. And so what he does is, right as Tobe was about to confess, Hachiman just showed up, walked right up to Hina and said, "I've always liked you for a long time. Will you please go out with me?" He said that to Hina, and Hina was just like, "No, I'm sorry. While I appreciate whatever's going on, I can't date anyone right now. Anyone. No matter who confesses to me, I won't date anyone right now." And then she walks away. Hachiman turns to Tobe. He's just like, "Hey, did you hear what she said?" You know, because she said it to Hachiman, not to Tobe. So it's not like Tobe got rejected. Hachiman was the one that got rejected. But because Tobe was standing there, he now hears that Hina doesn't want to go out with anybody. And so that makes the status quo remain fine. You know, that doesn't break up their little social group. Everyone's fine. But Yukino was mad as shit. She said, "I hate the way that you do things. I really do." And I understood that though, man. She hates that he hurts himself, because he doesn't know that, but those two girls like him. You know, Yukino and Yui, they like him. So seeing him put himself in these positions to get hurt hurts them to see. And that's why she was pissed off. She was just like, I can't stand to watch you do this. You always having to play the villain. You always having to get hurt, because now their little circle is fine. You know what I'm saying? Their circle is completely fine. And who knows if this shit might spread throughout the school with you confessing. Now you're going to be looked at as even more of a creep or an asshole than you were before because of what happened with that other bitch. You know, so it's just fucked up. And she walks away, you know. And then Yui, at first she was calm and she was talking to him, but she grabs the sleeve of his school jacket, and she breaks down too. She actually cries and she gets upset. She's like, "Please, how can you be so smart and not consider the feelings of other people?" You know, pretty much she's just saying like, "Look, think about how we feel about seeing this shit happen to you, about you constantly being this bad guy, you constantly playing this fence or whatever. Not playing the fence, but you constantly sticking to this side." Because even though he's being helpful, he's always the villain. That's the side that he's chosen, to always be the villain. And because they like him, they don't want to see that shit. They don't want to see him constantly be the bad guy, you know. And I feel bad for Hachiman though. It was a real fucked up situation. And Hina comes to talk to him, and she thanks him for, you know, keeping the status quo and keeping their circle intact or whatever. But she says something that, was this just a joke? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because I might be reading more into it though, because it seems like every time Hachiman does something like that, he gains the respect of someone, but in a weird sort of way. Because even with the shit that he did in the first season, when the one girl who was the chairman or whatever tried to run away, and you know how she tried to like pretty much gain the empathy of all the other people by saying that I shouldn't be the leader and all this sort of shit. You know, Hayato or Hayama, whatever the fuck his name is, he got mad at him because he was like, "I hate the way how you handle shit. You couldn't have handled shit any other way." But he respects him. All the other people there hated Hachiman for that shit because it just came out that he was the type of person. But it was a few people who actually knew what happened. They actually knew what went down, and they respected him for it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, see, that's fucked up. So in this episode, Hina comes up to him and she thanks him and all that sort of stuff, man. She was just kind of like, yeah, I shouldn't be in a relationship with anybody because I'm rotten to the core and all that sort of shit. But she's like, maybe if it were you, it would work out. And then he kind of turns to her and he says, "Don't say stuff to me like that. I might fall in love with you because of your sweet nothings," or whatever, whispering these such sweet words to me or whatever. But the way that she looked, I was just kind of like, yeah, it seemed like she might have a newfound respect for him. It's weird though, because it's funny because out of all the people in that crew, she was obviously watching him because she has those slash girl fucking fantasies about him and Hayama or Hayato, whatever the fuck his name is, you know, being together and all that shit. But it's just weird because she's keeping an eye on him. So I'm just like, maybe she did mean that shit in a way. Maybe she really, maybe that's truthful. Maybe because he's so blunt, you know, and so upfront and so just the way that he is. Maybe if they were together, that shit would work out. You know, he could be able to see through whatever fake personality that she might put up and be able to see the true her, and she might be able to be her true self around him. But, you know, I don't know. You know, it was just fucked up. And the shit that he said in the end, it kind of tore me apart, though. He was just kind of like, you know, we all lie. We all, you know, do things, you know, pretty much to deceive others, and we just smile and just pretend like nothing happened. But the biggest liar of all times was myself. I was just like, yeah. And it's obvious because he's obviously hurt by all the shit that he has to do. But he still does them because he's just, that's the only way he knows how to help. And I'm just like, fuck, Hachiman. That's sad as shit, though, man. But let me know what you guys think about this episode, though, man. I fucking loved it. This series is fucking amazing. Let me know what you think about all this, though, man. Bash Stampede.